Deals, and more deals. From ESPN to the NFL to Paramount to MLB, there are deals everywhere. So we needed one of the best analysts in the business to discuss it all. Rich Greenfield, one of the partners at Lightshed, is here with us. Rich, thanks again for joining us on the main event. Always my pleasure.
Thanks for having me. It's been a wild couple of weeks.
Totally wild. So let me just start here. Just real open-ended question for you. Of all the deals, the whole flurry, which one is the most intriguing to you?
It's not surprising to us that Paramount stepped in for UFC, given that, you've got new ownership and sort of bold desires. It's still the size, the dollars, putting content on UFC content on CBS in, prime time. To me, that feels like the boldest and most, shock and awe to the industry is what David Ellison and his team are trying to do to transform the new Paramount.
Yeah, you were all over that too. You were kind of saying that you thought that was a big possibility before the deal even went through.
But I think everyone thought they were going to split the rights, that ESPN would keep a little bit, that, maybe Amazon would come in or Netflix would come in, and then just seeing Ellison come in with a huge number, right? I mean, $1.1 billion is a big number, a long-term deal, but it's not just, hey, we're putting this content on Paramount Plus, but it's the idea of like, we are going to really try to transform. You think about a UFC fight, you're putting this on to, the quote unquote Tiffany network. I don't know if it'll be Sunday nights or I don't know exactly how this is all going to play out, but it just seems like a pretty bold move from Ellison and team.
100%. I want to get deeper into them. We're getting to ESPN NFL deals. We're presented by WSC Sports. You want to make your life easier. Your league, your team, your network. You got to use WSC Sports as digital asset management, a library that gets sports, that you tag a player, they do a highlight. A couple weeks later, you can use it. Digital asset management, WSC-sports.com. Jay Marine is our guest for the main event with me, Andrew Marchand, presented by WSC Sports, September 24th. Sign up in the show notes or the email. All right, let's get back into Paramount. The number, you're right. The expectation was they'll split it up between two entities. The 500 or so million that ESPN was going to pay, yes, it will be higher, but not double. That was a shocker. When you look at Paramount and where we're going, now there's not that many sports rights out there, but I do think something I've said a number of times now is there was this idea, when the streamers get involved, and they'll probably go after, to me, the Monday Night Footballs, the Thursdays, the Sundays, which will open up if they were to get one of those. Then you have NBC or ABC, Disney probably go after Fox or CBS's packages. Now CBS with Ellison's money feels pretty assured with keeping the NFL. Where do you see them? What do you project for what they're going to do?
I think this is a building block. They have a very, very strong belief in the power of broadcast. I think they're going to really deprecate cable, spend very little, cut a tremendous amount of cost. But I think there's a tremendous focus on building across broadcast and streaming, very similar to what you've seen out of NBC and Peacock. And it's probably no surprise, Andrew, that Jeff Shell, who oversaw NBC and Peacock, is now running Paramount, under David Ellison. And so, I think from that standpoint, the playbook is sort of set. They're going to invest heavily. They believe in broadcast and broadcast sports and what that means for advertising and how that translates into streaming. And they really look at it as how one can drive the other and vice versa. And so I think you're going to see sort of just like you've seen with NBC, how they share content, and content is sort of sometimes simulcast and sometimes split between the two. Like, look at what's going to happen with the NBA. You're getting a sort of a sneak peek of like what that playbook looks like. Now, remember, you said not a whole lot of rights available, but baseball is going to be coming up in 2028. I mean, maybe there's a strike in between or a lockout, but certainly baseball rights are not that far away. I mean, we're more than halfway through 25 and we're talking about 28. There could be a whole set of rights. And so I think it's very much, this was the biggest package available right now in terms of sports rights. They paid a huge number for it. And I think this is setting the stage for what, the next decade. Remember, Ellison is 42 years old, I think, if you check it. He's going to be around doing this probably for 40 plus years. Yes, there's nothing available, quote unquote, major over the next couple of years. But, if you're looking at this through a 10-year, 20-year lens, there's a ton of rights available.
100%. To listen to the rest of the podcast, andrewmarchand.com, andrewmarchand.com. And the question I want to ask you is, does it work? Does it work what they're trying to do? You said it's similar to the Peacock NBC model. Does this work in your